Round here, them guns get the last word.
Every true Tekken fan knows when it comes to Harada, Tekken lore, and Twitter, you are bound to get nothing but unfiltered chaos. The amount of tweets that Harada put out that completely stun-locked players is absolutely ridiculous, and the one we're going to be talking about today is no different. But before we get into the whole Geese Howard and him being canonical, I want to show you guys just some of the past examples so you can understand how crazy the lore is when it comes to Harada and his Twitter. For example, you have this one here where Harada responds to someone and says it's not true that Jan and Asuka are cousins. That's a crazy one. Another one here where Harada says that Lucky Chloe is not from Japan even though she's obsessed with it. But another thing he says is that she has a very big secret. Now, is that secret revealed? Do we know what it is after 7 years of Tekken 7? No, we do not. Another bombshell he dropped on us is that 1, the devil gene prevents baldness, and this is why Heihachi and Lars are bald. And I know you may think to yourself, Lars is not bald, he has a full head of hair. According to Harada, in another tweet, he says that Lars wears a wig. It goes on and on and on like this. Now you do have some gems in here, like this one here where Harada ranks the Tekken female characters according to their cooking ability. June and Asuka are on the same tier as a panda. That is horrible cooking being done over there at the Kazama family. But Lily is not far off. In this tweet, he says she doesn't even know how to make ramen noodles. One of the most legendary tweets is this one here, where he responds to someone who asks, why does Alyssa, who is a robot, have a breast bounce physics? He says, yes, her torso consists of titanium depleted uranium, but her skin is artificial. That boy Dr. Boskanovich was in the laboratory cooking. Another gem here is when he first explained how the dress that Nina wears is actually Anna's, and Nina stole it from her on her wedding day while also assassinating her husband. Some deep lore there. You also have this bombshell that Harada dropped on us when he said that Kazumi and her tiger are both ghosts within Tekken 7. So you have demons, vampires, sorcerers, and ghosts. Wow. The final one, and this is by far, I think, the greatest, is when he said Heihachi has 18 to 25 children all over the world. And then he just throws on a or more there. He confirms 9 of them. This, in short, is the chaos that takes place on Harada's Twitter when you're talking about Tekken lore. Now, the most recent tweet, 5 hours ago at the time of recording, this one, it does a really bad job in terms of making Geese canonical, right? This all comes off the heels of, Akuma, Bison being revealed. Street Fighter 6 is doing incredible things. Of course, whenever Akuma is in the conversation, Tekken 7 also gets lumped into that, so you see how we got pulled into this. The tweet says, Akuma was in Tekken 7 and was a canon part of the story. Terry and May will have world tour missions, meaning that they will also have canon story in Street Fighter 6. We now live with the possibility of Tekken, Street Fighter, Fatal Fury all officially sharing the same universe. You also got to throw in a Soul Calibur because we still don't know if that's canonical to Tekken. You have Yoshimitsu existing in both. You have Heihachi traveling through time in one game. Harada responds to this and says, also, it was Geese Howard who taught Tekken's Eliza the Dark Wave. ... I kind of take issue with this because first off, I love that Geese is canon within Tekken 7. I think it was well overdue. I don't think Negan's canon. I do think Noctis is also canon. So, you can tie together the strings between franchises, but it seems more and more like a multiverse is existing, or if not a multiverse, this world is packed. From Tekken causing World War III to the events that goes on within Street Fighter, it's chaos, right? But for Eliza's story is very, very simple, because she's a new character. It says Eliza was supposed to take a short nap, but she ended up sleeping for 600 years. Upon waking up, she found her powers as a vampire has faded to nothing. In an attempt to restore her strength, she consumed the blood of several victims. However, it wasn't enough. What she needed was the blood of someone with an intense spiritual force. Maybe then she would return to the peak condition. But did such a person even exist in this era? No one sprang to mind. Left with no other choice, Eliza headed to the HQ of the clan of exorcists who caused her no end of trouble when she last prowled the nights, talking about to like 600 years ago, right? Perhaps some of their descendants were still alive. Now, if you think about her lore here, about time she reaches Claudio and the clans of exorcists, she already knows how to do the dark wave. We saw in the pachinko slot machine when she was drinking people's blood that Claudio tracked her down and she tried to use that ability against Claudio. So we know sometime before that she interacted with Geese Howard to learn that ability. Now I'm just going to go ahead and just make up my own lore because Harada's given us this bombshell, and the only way Geese Howard can fit into this whole Eliza story equation is if, when it says that she is searching for someone who has enough spiritual force, the only way Geese can fit into this equation is if she somehow stumbles across him. Those two characters probably have a fight, but here's the thing. How do you have a fight? You go from trying to drink someone's blood to now you're learning their abilities. This lover's quarrel between Geese Howard and Eliza reminds me of Heihachi and Kazumi. Kazumi was sent to kill Heihachi. She was an assassin. But the thing is, Heihachi has more than one weapon. His ultimate weapon. We saw 25 kids, even more. His ultimate weapon is the power of Riz. He rizzed up Kazumi and turned her from an enemy to his greatest ally until she ultimately betrayed him, but that's another story. Geese Howard, it seems like he did the same exact thing to Eliza. If you flip over to his canon lore within Tekken 7, the CEO of Howard Connections and the most powerful man in the South Town, the controlling it from behind the scenes. Geese is a world-versed ancient Japanese martial artist and specializes in reversing opponents' attack in his very anti-whatever counter throws, whatever. He wields overwhelming presence with his charismatic evil. Those last 6 words says everything that I need to know. Going off this tweet from Harada, Eliza probably met him, tried to drink his blood, they had some fierce battle, and with that evil, charismatic way, Geese Howard probably swindled her, wooed her, rizzed her, and then eventually she learned the dark wave. I know there's some people who's watching this and they're like, what is the Moonsalt Slayer talking about? All I'm saying is, this is the only way Harada's tweet can make sense. Eliza's story is so compact and there isn't really that much time to be going around the world exploring and learning and all of this stuff. If you think about it, where she was held in Lily's basement and where Claudio's at, that's all located in like Italy and France. So how does she end up all the way on the other side of the world with Geese Howard, unless he was over there in Italy? I mean, it's just, this is why players don't really like Harada tweeting about lore on Twitter, because once again you have this major wrench being thrown in the whole equation and you struggle to understand it in a cohesive way. You got to jump through 1,000 hoops to figure it out, and at the end of it you're only left with more confusion.